Welcome all in class 10 on electromagnetic theory. In this class we will find an expression of electric potential and electrical field due to an electric dipole. We will also discuss about continuity equation of current in this class. So electrical dipole consists of two equal and opposite charges separated by a fixed distance. Here minus q and plus q charges are separated by distance d. So it consists an electrical dipole with dipole moment equal to magnitude of charges and the distance between the charges. The direction of dipole moment is from negative to positive charge. So now we are concerned to find the electrical potential, and from the expression of electric potential we will find electrical field of an dipole. So we have a dipole consisting of two charges minus q and plus q. They are separated by distance 2l. The center of the dipole coincides with the reference point, that is the origin, and we have to find the electrical field as well as electric potential at point P. So in order to find electric potential at point P, we are considering point P and location of point P in spherical coordinates. That is, from the center or the reference point, the point P is at distance r and it makes angle theta with the axis of the dipole. So in order to calculate the potential at point P, we must be aware about the distance r1 and distance r2 of point P from charge minus q and plus q. In order to find relation between r1 and r and r2 and r, I am drawing a perpendicular from origin on line r1. So perpendicular from origin O cuts r1 at point M. So as it is the perpendicular, so this angle is 90 degree, and if we suppose that the r distance is much greater than 2l and we draw a perpendicular from point O on r1 which cuts r1 at point M, so we can estimate that distance OP is almost same as that O as distance PM. That is, distance OP is equal to MP. So R1 in terms of R can be found by that total distance R1 is equal to R plus this distance M, that is distance from M to minus Q. So distance R1 is R distance, this distance MP, which is equal to R plus distance from minus Q to point M. And as this angle is 90 degree, from the geometry shown in the slide we can calculate that distance from M to minus Q can be estimated to be L cos of theta. So R1 is nearly equal to R plus L cos theta. In a similar way, we are drawing a perpendicular from minus q charge on OP. This perpendicular cuts OP at point N. So we can again estimate that distance from P to plus Q, which is R2, is almost same as that of NP. So R2 distance can be estimated to be equal to total distance R minus distance NO, and distance NO is L cos of theta. So R2 distance is R minus L cos of theta. So potential at point P due to minus Q charge is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught minus Q charge divided by R1, and R1 is R plus L cos of theta. Similarly, potential at point P due to plus Q charge is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R2, which is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R minus L cos of theta. The total potential at point P is algebraic sum of potential due to negative charge and due to positive charge, which on simplifying we obtain that the potential is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into 2L cos theta divided by R square minus L square cos of theta. We have already assumed an assumption that R is much greater than 2L. So when R is much greater than 2L, this term can be nearly estimated to be that 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into 2L cos theta divided by R square, because magnitude of R square is much more than L square cos of theta, which in terms of electrical dipole moment comes out to be Q multiplied by 2L is electrical dipole moment. So the total potential at point P is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P cos of theta by R square. Now we have already studied an expression that electrical field can be derived from potential by taking negative of del of V. So if E is in spherical coordinates, then as we have already assumed that we are proceeding with spherical coordinates, so E in spherical coordinates can be written as ER, E theta and E phi. So if we expand del of V in spherical coordinates, then it will be unit vector AR curly V upon curly R plus A theta 1 upon R curly V upon curly theta plus A phi 1 upon R sin theta curly V upon curly phi. So if we equate these two terms, then we can, by equating AR term with AR, A theta with A theta, E phi with A phi, we obtain that radial component of electrical field is minus curly V upon curly R. The component of electrical field in theta direction is minus 1 upon R curly V upon curly theta, and E phi is 1 upon R sin theta curly V upon curly phi. So as we have expression of ER, which I have derived that ER is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P cos of theta minus 2 by R cube. So by using the expression we have just calculated that V is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught E cos theta by R square. So if we put curly v upon curly r, we obtain that ER is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught P cos of theta minus 2 by r cube, and E theta component is 1 upon r 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught minus P sin theta by r square. Now E phi component is 0 because at particular distance from the dipole, that is if distance remains the same, then and we draw a circle with center as radius r, then electrical field will remain same at every point on the circle with radius r because the distance remains the same. So if we draw a circle with center as radius r, then the value of electrical field will not change along the circle. That is, the rate of change of electrical field along phi direction will be 0. So we obtain that E phi is 0, and the total electrical field at point E can be calculated by taking square root of ER square, E theta square and E phi square, which we obtain that by taking terms common and by using these manipulations. We obtain that total electrical field at point P is P upon 4 pi epsilon naught r cube and square root of 4 cos square theta plus sin square theta. So this is the expression of electrical field due to a dipole with dipole moment P at distance r, which makes angle theta with the axis of the dipole. So next is about current density. So current density, as we know, it is current per unit area. So ratio of current to the surface area whose direction is normal to the direction of charge motion is known as current density. So consider a surface ds whose normal is parallel to the velocity of charge having current di, then expression of current density mathematically can be represented as di by ds. So based on this current density, we have to derive continuity equation of current. So consider there are various currents meeting at a point inside a volume of surface as shown. Some currents are entering into the volume and some currents are leaving from the volume. So if we assume motion of charges is at constant rate with time, then from KCL we have that I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4 is equal to 0, and in terms of current density, that is J1 dot ds, I1 can be represented as integration of J1 dot ds, I2 can be represented as integration of J2 dot ds, and so on is equal to 0, or they can be written as J dot ds integration is equal to 0, and by using divergence theorem we can obtain that divergence of J is equal to 0. So divergence of J is equal to 0 if we assume motion of charges is at constant rate, that is in a situation like DC currents. So in DC currents, the motion of charges is at constant rate. However, for time varying field in which current is not steady, this equation do not hold true. For example, in case of AC sources, the current entering at a point is not equal to current leaving at the same point. That is, the charges input is not equal to same of charges leaving the volume. In this case, total current flowing into or out of the volume is equal to rate of change of electrical charge into the volume. This is a well-known fact that current is basically rate of change of charge in the volume. So for a volume dV having charge density rho, we have charge density rho, so total charge in the surface can be mathematically represented as integration of rho dV, and J dot ds basically is current density over the entire surface, so which is also equal to current I. So I is basically rate of change of charge. So we can write mathematically that integration of J dot ds is equal to minus curly upon curly t of rho dV. And again, by using divergence theorem, that is by converting surface integral into the volume integral, we obtain that divergence of J is minus curly rho upon curly t, where rho is the charge density in the volume. So from here we conclude that for DC charges, for that is charges that are flowing at constant rate, that is for DC charges, divergence of J is always equal to 0. However, if the volume is acting as source or sink, in that case divergence of J is minus curly rho upon curly t, that is rate of change of charges in the volume. So these two expressions, that is divergence of J is 0 and divergence of J is minus curly rho upon curly t, are known as continuity equation of currents. So this was all from my side for today. Thank you very much.